Hello, I'm Mc Connell, wardrobe stylist and transformational coach, and I am here today with Dr. Bobbi Lancaster, and I will let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for inviting me to this conversation.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Once again, my name is Dr. Bobbi Lancaster, and I am a family physician, semi-retired. I'm also an author and a speaker. I'm a retired professional golfer. I'm a transgender rights advocate, and I'm happily married. I'm the proud father of 3 growing children, and I have 2 grandkids. And one of my principal jobs is being the poop scooper for my wife's dog breeding business. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me grounded.
Definitely. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
All right. Of course, everybody's journey when you're 69 years old it's a long journey. Very briefly, I was born in 1950. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And you can imagine back in the day, the doctors delivered the babies without the help of ultrasounds. The parents didn't know whether they were going to have a boy or a girl. So when I was born, the doctor looked between my legs and pronounced right away, "It's a boy." And my parents were thrilled, and I was raised as Robert. However, by the time I was 6 years old, I found that I liked to dress in girls' clothes. And somewhere deep inside me, I knew I was a girl. My name was Bobbi. I hid this fact from my parents and from my friends. We can get into that later if you wanted to, but I hid. And it seems like the longer I hid, the harder it became to ever come out. So I went through my medical school training. I married. I had 3 kids. I was a pillar in the community. As a family physician, I did all kinds of incredible things. I think, in fact, here's a picture of me for your audience when I was younger. I would be about 4 years old here.
Very handsome.
And so, outwardly, I looked like the total success package. I just had it all. Inside, I was probably one of the most miserable human beings you'd ever know. If you gave me 5 seconds by myself where I didn't have anything to do except be by myself, I'd just start crying because I couldn't be myself. I was hiding this secret. And the crying and the hopelessness and the feeling trapped escalated to a point in my mid-50s where I finally attempted suicide and was rescued by my wife. That was followed a short time later by a stroke. And so that was the wake-up call that finally let me know in a not too subtle way, if I'm ever going to live as Bobbi, I've got to do something about it now because there's no guarantee I'm going to live a lot longer. And so that began the process of painful conversations with my wife, my family, colleagues, patients, my kids, and the transition started. And in 2012, I completed my transition, not just socially, but medically. And so here's my smiling face now. You're looking at a pretty happy human being.
Yeah, and a lot of people can relate to your journey because as a transformational coach and working with the transgender community, a lot of trans women transition at a later stage in life and go through all this pain, all these years of struggle.
Right. Yeah, my story's not that unusual or unique. And frankly, it's not just transgender people. Everybody has their story.
Yeah.
But today's my time to have a chat with you.
Yeah. So you're extremely busy. You're an author, and you also wrote a memoir.
That's correct. Yeah. My memoir, that came into being after I transitioned, as I said, in 2012. I had to come out to my employers. I had 2 big responsibilities as medical directors of 2 large companies. And my employers once they heard my story, did not want me any longer to be the face of their business. It was an unbelievably gut-wrenching discriminatory movement in my life. And I've really never recovered from that, at least professionally. Oh, I do lots of great things now, but my practice of medicine is much reduced. But that lit a fire under me. Not a big enough fire to go get a lawyer, but certainly a big enough fire to learn more about the rest of my community and the struggles they all have, and to write a memoir about my life. And to, here's what the memoir goes through my story in much more detail than I'm able to do right now in our conversation. But the memoir also has an interesting section in it. Probably it occupies a third of the book. It's an educational piece. It starts with a chapter called Science Friday, where I get into all of the biology, all of the medical facts, all the scientific information we now know about being transgender. It talks about autopsy studies. It talks about functional MRIs and PET scans and genetic studies that now inform us that being transgender is just a mutation of a gene or two here or there that don't allow for certain hormonal events to happen in the proper sequence, so that you end up with a brain you identify, but it isn't in congruence with the rest of your body. So there's a lot known scientifically about that. So I found that people who have purchased my book, they find that fascinating, that chapter. And also a whole question and answer section of the book too. They find that fascinating. And then the other bit of this book, because obviously it's a complicated book. Here's the book, by the way. It's called The Red Light Runner.
The Red Light Runner.
Yes. It's a complicated book because it's part memoir, it's part educational, but it also tells the reader what I've been doing around my advocacy around transgender acceptance, transgender equality. And I have been very busy. I have leveraged my former career as a professional golfer. I had some notoriety, especially when I continued to play professional golf once I transitioned. Wow. I garnered the attention of international media. And I used that platform to do my advocacy work. And from that, I speak, frankly, all over the country, universities, community colleges, town halls. I speak anytime I have an opportunity. Even on a daily basis, I'm trying to do my educational piece. I'm trying to let the world meet a transgender person and feel comfortable around them and feel at ease asking me questions. So that's what I'm up to. And I think any family of a transgender person or any transgender individual, or frankly, the general public, would find my book extremely helpful.
Yes, I'll definitely post the link for your book in the description.
All right.
Yeah. So what would be your parting advice that you could share with the audience?
Oh, gosh. That's a big question. I think if there's any parting advice that just comes to my head right away, it would be, if you're hiding, maybe you're hiding the fact you're gay, maybe that you're hiding the fact you're transgender, or maybe you're just hiding for whatever the issue, it's not a healthy state to be in. And I would encourage anybody that if you really want to know happiness, and if you want to find out and work with the fullest of your gifts, with the fullest of your potential, stop hiding. You've got to share your story with your best friend or whoever. You've got to get out there, get some counseling. It's painful, it's difficult, but the other end of it is just, you'll be such a more happy and productive human being. So hiding, no, not good. It's a dangerous thing to do. And the other little tidbit I'll get in there too is that I'm a big proponent of the need for advocacy. And maybe it's just not around transgender rights. It could be advocacy around any issue that's near and dear to the listener in their lives. Don't ignore your responsibility. Don't think that somebody else will take up the banner and run with an issue. It's your time to step forward. Think about what you can do to make a difference. So does that sound a little preachy?
No, I'm sorry, not at all. Very good advice.
All right.
So where can our audience follow or support you online?
Online, hopefully you'll post my email. I'm quite happy with your audience having my email.
Okay.
They can find me on Facebook as well.
Okay.
And those are probably the two main places. They can also Google and look me up. They'll find lots of YouTubes of me speaking, YouTube videos. They can also Wikipedia me. You're going to find my story there. So yeah, if they want to, they can find me.
Okay, great. Well, Dr. Bobbi, thank you so much for being with us. You are definitely very accomplished. And thank you for thank you for listening, and have a fabulous day. I will post all the links in the description above. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.